Hey everyone, and welcome to a super special episode of Cooking in the Garage. Today's episode is brought to you by my cousin Tim. My cousin Tim put a challenge out to our extended family requesting their very best at-home recipes that you can make using very simple ingredients. So today I'm going to be cooking for you a very nice soup which I eat on a regular basis. It's pretty healthy, kind of. You'll see how it goes. I will be cooking this soup here in my garage using very simple tools. I have here my Primus multi-fuel EX3288 model camp stove. It's quite noisy. You might be bothered by how noisy this camp stove is. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to start up this camp stove. Don't worry, Mom. I have a fire extinguisher and a bucket of water by the front door. What has to happen here is the stove has to get hot enough that the fuel doesn't come out as a liquid but comes out as a gas. You can see here now it's starting to fire properly. It's starting to spurt a little bit. Oh, here it is. It's happening. There you have it, ladies and gents. So, I have here a stainless steel pot. It's a nice one that I use in the kitchen all the time. Hopefully, the soot from the white gas doesn't make this too hot, but as you can see, it's firing quite well now. I'm going to be putting in maybe about 3 cups of water from my vase here. I don't really usually measure it out, just as long as it's enough to cover the noodles. This is the amount of water that I put into my soup. I don't know, second knuckles worth, just a few inches deep. I go more for depth than to do volume, and I'm just using a 1 quart pot here. So now I'm going to put it on the stove and wait for it to boil. Oh, it gets drastically more quiet once I put the stove on there. While I'm waiting for the water to boil, there's a couple things that I can do. I have here a little bowl and 1 medium-sized egg. Sometimes if I'm feeling really hungry, I'll up the protein and put 2 eggs in. Or if I'm only feeling sort of hungry, I'll use 1 extra large egg. But because right now the only thing I have in my fridge is 1 medium egg, I will be using 1 medium egg. Now, you're in for a real treat. I'm going to show you how I can crack an egg using only 1 hand. Check this out. Here's the bowl. Here's the egg. I'm going to crack this egg using 1 hand. Boop. Beauty. No shells or anything. So I've got the egg cracked here, and I will be using a regular 4-tined dinner fork to mix this egg around. It's important to mix the egg around. You don't want to just have a gob of egg in your soup, because then it just turns into a big gob of egg. If you mix the egg up first, then it comes out nicer in the soup, a bit more stringy and a bit less globular. I don't really like these bowls. They're from IKEA and they get scratches in the side of them. Really annoying. Now, some other ingredients that I have for you other than my egg is I have some just regular standard chili flakes, some spinach. I like lots of spinach because you put like a whole bunch of spinach into something and it kind of boils down to nothing. So I like lots of spinach. If you haven't guessed already, I'm making good old-fashioned Ichiban noodles because they're delicious, somewhat nutritious, and if you dress them up, they're super tasty, quick, easy, and a great meal to eat for lunch, breakfast, and if you're really desperate, dinner. Here are my chili flakes. Just standard dry chili flakes, which I'll be adding because I like my soup spicy. Here is my spinach. Look, great for salads or cooking. It's not and cooking. You can't cook this into a salad. Cooked salad. I don't think this is even expired yet. Look at me. So far it's been about 8 minutes, and this is the hardest part, is waiting for the water to boil. There's a lot of action once the water starts boiling. The noodles cook quite quickly, so does the spinach, and so do the eggs. So you want to make sure that you have all your ingredients ready to go by the time the water is boiling. It makes good timing that you get the water boiling, then you get everything else together like I have here. So I've got my eggs ready. I've got my spinach ready. I've got my chili flakes right here, and I've got my Ichiban ready to go. Now, some people really enjoy putting the entire brick of noodles into the water, so you have really long noodles in there. Personally, I find them very hard to eat, so I tend to break my noodles into quarters. I do that while they're still in the bag though. I'll show you how that's done. So what I do to break my noodles is just to put my hands in the back like this. I use my thumbs in the front and push down with my thumbs so it breaks in half. Then I rotate the Ichiban again and do the same thing the other direction. Then I have 4 sections of noodles in my Ichiban package, and if I do it carefully, the package does not break. Now I am using original flavor Ichiban noodles. You can use beef or chicken. The shrimp flavor is a bit weird, and so is the miso. I would not really recommend those ones. I would stick with the original beef or chicken. Oh, it's boiling now. Let's put the noodles into the pot. Now I'm not going to just dump them in because there is a spice package in here that I don't want to have floating around in my soup. So I'm going to just put this off to the side for now, and I'll put in my noodles. There we have the noodles cooking in here. And before I add any other ingredients, I'm just going to make sure that these noodles are a little bit soft first. The first ingredient I'm going to add is probably the spice package. The strange thing about adding the spice package though is that when you do that, the water tends to get really excited. So I might have to blow on the pot here. Ooh, it's getting steamy. I might have to blow on the noodles here to keep them from overflowing. Okay, I'm going to add the spice package. Woo, look how excited it gets. It's looking really good. Now, I'm going to turn down the temperature just a little bit so it's not boiling so vigorously. There we are. And now I'm going to add the egg. Now, it's very important that when you add the egg, you don't stir it around crazy, because that way, if you stir it around too much, the egg just kind of turns into like, I don't know, it kind of just disappears into the broth and makes the broth all milky. So what I do is I pour the egg in to the boiling water. And then I just give it a gentle stir. And the egg will turn into kind of little strings, and it won't just turn all milky in the broth. Let's see if I can get a close up there. So here is the egg stirred into the noodles. You can see the egg is still somewhat in chunks. It's not just turned milky into the broth, which you don't want. You want the eggs to be separate and not combined into the broth. Now I really like my soup to be spicy, so I like to add quite a bit of chili flakes. You can add as much or as little chili flakes as you like. For my favorite part, which is adding the spinach. I don't tend to measure this out. I just put some spinach leaves in. I really like spinach, It's one of my favorite vegetables to eat. So I just throw them in on top there. Oh heck, let's do the whole bag. I'm just stirring the spinach into the soup here. It's looking quite lovely. I think it's almost ready to put into a bowl. Let's turn that stove off. Awesome. So we have the completed soup in the pot. Now, I don't expect you to eat it out of the pot, although you could if you wanted to. I'm going to use a large glass Tupperware container because I do not own any bowls that are big enough to contain all the soup that I have made. I do find that one package of soup is enough. I wouldn't want any more, and I usually don't want any less soup. Let's pour this in and see how it looks. Oh, it's going to splash. Let's get all the spinach out there. So there you have it, Cousin Tim. This is my recipe that you challenged me to send to you. I think you wanted me just to type it up in an email, but this is a lot more fun. This is my Sapporo Ichiban original flavored noodle soup with eggs, spinach, and chilies. But this is simple, it's basic, it's quick, it's tasty, and it is almost healthy. So, I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoy eating this. Have a nice day.